let's talk about the elephant in the room, which the show topic is actually on. Is Zac Taylor on the hot seat in 2025? I'll say this, yes.
Yeah.
100%.
No doubt about it.
100%. And had some good conversations this past week, and some buddies around the league I was talking to, and apparently, uh, if you notice, the organization never came out with a statement of any sort. This is a prove-it year for Zac. He needs to take this team to the playoffs. Hell, he might need to go on a deep playoff run to feel comfortable in his job security.
Probably win a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. You only get one chance to, you only get one chance to do it again, to remake your roster, and from a staff standpoint. Yeah. So this is a important year for Zac. I got a chance to have some conversations, and I was told that apparently that was made clear by the front office. Zac Taylor was a great spokesman, apparently, from a, hey, you know what? We're in lockstep, blah, 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 blah. And those things he's obviously has to say. But make no mistake about it, this is a make or break year for Zac Taylor and company. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because I think the franchise has an idea that they need to try to win now in this Burrow era where things are looking like they're on the up and up from an offensive standpoint. Logan, what are your thoughts?
Man, it's undeniable that he has to be. Like, there's no way you have the season that we just had. I don't care how good the offense is, you miss the playoffs. Like, missing the playoffs again. I know Joe Burrow was hurt the year before, and that gives you this year that he just had. And that's like, okay, dude, Joe's no longer hurt. Go out there and do your job. Well, here we are. We're still not talking about the Bengals playing in the playoffs or preparing for whatever it is. We're talking about Zac Taylor because the job was not done. And granted, it is not solely on Zac Taylor. We have discussed this. Everybody has discussed this at a nauseating pace. He is part of the problem. It's not the problem. Same thing with essentially every coach in the whole organization. But at the end of the day, if you ever go a 3-year stretch with, it should be 2-year stretch if we're being completely honest, but 3-year stretch and you don't make the playoffs, or you don't even win a playoff game with this current team that played in a Super Bowl, played in an AFC Championship game, and then you're just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Why would anybody want you to be here? Like, we're running out of logical explanations to keep the guy. And there's not many already, but it's getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. And obviously not everybody operates with common sense and logic all the time, but he's running out of arguments to be used to save his job. And there's plenty of arguments for him to be gone already. They're getting smaller and smaller of why he should continue to keep his job. And if he's not winning a playoff game this year, there's not much of a reason to keep him. It's just like, it's almost as simple as that. Like, he's been great in a number of things. The offense this year has been great. But again, Dan Pitcher comes along. Offense looks different. You just have fucking Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. Like, that is not anything Zac Taylor did. I still think he'd be average in that role wherever he went post this, but you're running out of excuses to keep the guy.
Yeah. It's, to put it simply, for me, as being on the hot seat is somebody that has the past 4 years, and you can look at the recent history and say that's not enough. There's certain guys where you don't even have to question. Sean McVay, in my opinion, John Harbaugh. There's, I'm sure, some other guy, even a guy like Matt LaFleur, maybe now, but beforehand, hey, those guys, regardless of how this season looks, he's a part of your future. Zac Taylor, for me, at the point, I'm not there. I've seen the past and I've seen the Super Bowl run, sure, but have I seen enough to say he is the Bengals' next head coach for the next 5 years? I don't think he's proved enough for me.
I think people saw the front office make this change and they said, yeah, see, the front office believes in Zac and they get behind Zac. It's actually quite the contrary. It's you're the head coach. Obviously, you're the guy that we believed in, but you cannot. Apparently, it was made clear to me, Zac Taylor cannot miss the playoffs. The expectation is for him not to miss the playoffs with the healthy Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Again, that just cannot happen.